Epstein. For more on this developing story, France 24's international affairs editor Angela DIffley joins us here in the studio. Hello, Angela.
Hi.
Do we know yet exactly what suspected misconduct this arrest stems from?
Well, there are two police investigations. One was into the allegations that Andrew trafficked women to Windsor Castle when he was living there for sex. That is one. The other one, which emerged after the latest batch of Epstein files, is the idea that he was appointed UK trade envoy. And while he was UK trade envoy, we can see from emails with Jeffrey Epstein, it appears that he shared confidential information with Jeffrey Epstein. And on another occasion, emails suggest that he was travelling with the Queen to the United Arab Emirates, and he was talking to the Emiratis, it appears from the email, and suggested they should be doing business with Jeffrey Epstein. This was in 2010. Jeffrey Epstein had been released from that open prison after his first conviction just months before this. So this is in the emails. There was, in the light of those emails about the trade envoy activity, an investigation was opened into that. It is thought that this arrest pertains to that, although it's not absolutely clear. You know, this trade envoy post itself, Andrew, when he was Prince Andrew, was appointed to this job largely because he was becoming an embarrassment. Nobody knew what to do with him, and it was thought that there was a lot of complaint about the fact he was receiving an enormous amount of public money as a member of the royal family and didn't appear to be doing much. And so this post was almost invented for him. It was thought that he's quite a gregarious person. He might be able to do something useful in terms of promoting Britain abroad. And it appears from these emails that he was using the trade envoy job for other reasons as well. That is what's being investigated. You know, he's been taken into custody after being arrested at Sandringham in Norfolk this morning. It's likely he'll be released fairly quickly. He's not a danger. There's no reason not to. And we will find out perhaps then more about this. He's living in Sandringham, of course, because he was evicted from the grounds of Windsor Castle by the King.
Now, Angela, this is an unprecedented situation in the United Kingdom, but Andrew's ties to Jeffrey Epstein have been long known. Can you tell us a little bit more about how the royal family has been communicating about this case leading up to the arrest and what we've heard from them since it happened this morning?
Yeah, well, it should be noted, of course, it was Queen Elizabeth II who was reigning when all of this first emerged, and it's never been exactly clear who paid the £12 million settlement to Virginia Giuffre, who accused Prince Andrew of sexual assault when she was 17 years old. And it has been strongly rumoured that Queen Elizabeth paid that from her private purse. We really don't know where that money came from. And many people have pointed out, you know, it was widely thought that Prince Andrew, as he was then, was the Queen's favourite son. She would have been devastated to see what has happened today. That is as clear as could be. Once King Charles took over, it seems very clear that he had a plan to try to limit the damage to the monarchy. He clearly had been advised that this thing was going to get bigger and bigger, but he acted sort of incrementally. Small action by small action. First of all, it was communicated early last year that Prince Andrew had agreed not to use many of his titles. A lot of the British public thought, you don't agree to what sort of sanctions you might be receiving for what appears to be, at the very best, scandalous behaviour, if not worse. And then after that, the King stripped him of his title of being Prince Andrew. That was late last year. And then, as it became clear that these Epstein files, the next lot, were about to be released and that things could only get worse, he was told he would have to leave Windsor Castle property, that is public property, and go to the King's private property, Sandringham Palace, nevertheless still a royal palace, to live in the grounds of that palace. And he was hurriedly moved there when this the tranche of Epstein files came out in January. So the king has tried to limit the damage. It is very complicated. This is at once a family. This is his younger brother and a vital institution. And the king's priority is preserving that institution. It should be noted when he goes out on walkabouts and for public engagements, he has been heckled recently over this. That is something you didn't see very much of. On each occasion when he has been heckled, a bigger number of people have said, be quiet to the heckler. Polls show the king hasn't been affected too much, and it's thought he is trying to clean this thing up, get it out of the way for when Prince William takes over. We don't know when.